Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Gatt, and I'm an artist, and rent a business unit up at Green Lane Centre, which is just up Green Lane, round the corner from the Whitby Abbey car park. And I work in Batik, which is using candle wax or melted beeswax to decorate fabric or paper, and then to brushing on dye or paint, and working on the idea that wax and water don't mix. So that's what batik is really, in its broadest sense, is making art from wax and water and using that the fact that they don't mix as part of that artistic process. And it can be used mostly for decorating fabric, but actually can be used on paper, leather, wood, and in ceramics as well. And I first came across batik many years ago when I was in my late teens, and I grew up in the 70s when crafts had a bit of a revival, and I'm self-taught. I haven't got any art training, but I was messing around with things at home and discovered batik from a library book, and I was absolutely fascinated by the process. It's really magical, almost. It is a magical process when the wax resists the watery dye, and I was absolutely captivated. And that was many years ago. I'm now in my late 50s, and batik has been a thread throughout my life. I've had many things to contend with in life. I've had 2 divorces, I've had family problems, I've had occasionally health problems. I found out I was celiac, which is a genetic condition where a gluten-free diet is required, and so I had many years of anemia and wondering what was the problem and feeling under par. 2 marriage breakups and various others, bereavements, things like that. All the time, batik has been there in the background as a comfort to me. It's been something that's lasted throughout my life, and something that's been there, just like a thread running through all the different changes, all the things that you have in life to contend with, your family problems, health, whatever. And listening to some of the previous speakers rang a chord, because I do meditate. I've taken meditation classes, and also I've been for counselling, 2 sets of counselling to sort out various problems. And again, with that repetitive behaviour, you think, why am I doing making the same mistakes again? And those things are very familiar to me. But all the time, batik has given me strength through the down times, and enhanced the good times too. And I even met David Bellamy once in Milton Keynes. That's another thread that's come back into my life. But at an art exhibition in Milton Keynes many years ago, about 20 odd years ago. But batik is the most fascinating process. And I actually belong to the Batik Guild, which is a national body. And batik can be interpreted in many different ways. It can be used in a simplest way by a child, or by somebody that's with low skill, to make patterns. These batiks, there's some batiks there done by children. This is a man who's studied batik for many years and lives part of his year in India. There's another batik by a Welsh artist, and another one by an artist who lives in Wiltshire, who went to Africa last year to study batik using natural dyes. So it's a very wide field. It never fails to fascinate me. But I think what it is with art, and batik especially, is that when you're concentrating on something, you're making something, you for a moment forget everything else. So in a way it's a kind of meditation. You concentrate entirely on what you're doing, and so your brain gets a bit of a holiday from all those worries about how am I going to pay the bills, or what's going to happen to my son when he does this, or is my mum going to be all right there? You forget all those things. You concentrate totally on what you're doing. And so it gives your mind a bit of a holiday and you're just engrossed in what you're doing. And because batik is quite a slow process, and I've just brought some of the little tools along to show you. If I should have got them out before. But it slows you down, and I think here we go. These are the lovely little tools that you can use to apply the wax. You can use apply the wax in many different ways, with brushes and with metal stamps, with cardboard tubes. There are all sorts of ways of applying the wax, but one of the traditional ways are with these metal pens that are called chantings, and they're based on a traditional Javanese design. That's the traditional Javanese one, and these are all other sort of versions. And when you're working with the wax, you use them like dip pens, dip them in the hot wax, and then you start to draw with the wax over the smooth white fabric. And it's a very meditative process, very slow. If you work too fast, you can get for quite fast dashes, but the wax runs out very quickly on the nib, so they work best used very slowly. So to do small dots and to do a continuous line with the wax using these lovely pens is a very meditative process, and it's very calming, and time stands still while you're putting on the wax, and then you've got the excitement of adding dye and seeing what happens next. It's like magic painting. All the areas that have wax on them repel the dye, and so you're left with this pattern, and you can build up the colours from light to dark. It's absolutely fascinating. So up at Green Lane Centre, I have my studio there, my little office unit it is really, and I've got North Sea Fisheries next door, and Kath Harlan that does orthopaedic massage, she's the other side. There's a scaffolding company and the Whitby Advertiser just down the hall, so I'm the only artist in the building. It's like a business centre and community centre. But I shut the door, and then that's my little bit of paradise. I can sit there, especially if it's snowing or raining, and just sit there in the warm and sit there with my magic pens, waxing and putting on the wax. It's really lovely. And I do hold some courses as well, mostly at Green Lane Centre, but I'm willing to come out to any group, to give a talk or demonstration or do workshops for art and textile groups. And one of the biggest pleasures in my life is to pass on what I've learned through over many years myself, through going on different batik workshops with international artists. I love to pass on my knowledge to my students and to see them completely engrossed and lost in what they're doing, and to see many of my students say that they find coming to do batik completely calms them down, it makes them happy, and they feel as if they're relaxed at the end of a batik session. And many of those students have become good friends, and I think the social aspect of all meeting together in a group and doing something together is very beneficial to your health as well. The fact of going out, turning out the house once a week to go and sit with nice people and do something pleasant and absorbing is very, very good for your health. It's some sort of structure to your week if you're at home a lot, and the social aspect is very beneficial. And what better than to sit and put on the wax with these lovely pens. So I hope that you may look at some of my leaflets. I bought some workshop leaflets, and there's some at the back there if anybody's interested in coming along to workshops. You can see my work at the local gallery, the Turnstone Gallery down at Sands End, and at Trattles and Gill in Church Street as well. It has some of my work, and the Coast Gallery down near Scarborough have some. So I hope that I may see some of you again, if you feel like coming along and having a go at batik. But do have a look at my website as well. There's a couple of videos on there of me actually doing batik. Sadly, I hadn't got time today to bring along my wax pot and show you, but do have a look at my website. If you just type in Heather Gatt into Google, it'll come up Heather Gatt and batik. So thank you for listening, and nice to meet you all. Thank you.